Hi, everybody, my fellow event planners. How are you today? We are coming to you live on Thursday as opposed to our regular Friday Facebook Live. If this is your first time at the event industry Facebook Live, welcome. Thanks for joining us. I had to shift things around a little bit this week because I have kids and there's schools out. I know a lot of you listeners out there and followers are also working moms and just know the challenges of juggling all the things on top of being an event planner. So thank you for joining us on our non-Facebook Live typical day. We'll go back to Fridays next week when things are back to normal. So I'm Jen Singer, the founder of the event industry. I come to you live and talk about event planning subject and answer any topics that you have or any questions that you are facing in your world. So if you are facing any questions, please put them in the comment section, or you can email me at hello@theeventindustry.com. That's hello@theeventindustry.com. You can also visit theeventindustry.com for any further tips or resources or checklists, tons of videos and things, freebies to download there if you are new to our group and want to check things out. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about creating space. And what do I mean by that? This kind of comes from something I learned from a mentor of mine, a restaurateur, actually a couple restaurateur who owned Delphina Restaurant Group in San Francisco. And I worked for them for a number of years, many moons ago. And one of the things that they focus on a lot as a restaurateur that really applies to events is the creating of space and the creating of ambiance, and specifically light, temperature, and sound. Now, I've talked about some of these different elements on previous Facebook Lives, and they pertain to like AV and decor and your sound or your entertainment, and they're all like, they're all intertwined. But here I just want to kind of reiterate what specifically I mean about this, and then also just touch upon the fact that this is something to be mindful of throughout the event. So not only are you something that you should consider when you're working with your AV company or you're talking to entertainment or the venue, all of those things, but something that I do during the event, like right before guests are going to arrive, is like, how does the event space feel right now? Is it inviting? Does it feel too hot? Does it feel too cold? Is the sound too loud? Are the lights up too high? Craig and Annie Stoll, the owners of Delphina Restaurant, like every time he would come into the restaurant, they own a number of restaurants, and he would kind of like bounce around in the evening. And you always knew that when he came in, he was going to be touching upon like those three elements, and he would make adjustments to the light, he would make adjustments to the music, really liked it like loud and like fun, and he would also just make sure that the temperature felt great. So you need to be making those checks and balances at the very beginning of your event and also throughout the event. So I'm going to dive into a little bit specific, some things to kind of think of. So for lighting, like I said, something that you want to incorporate with your AV company ahead of time. Think about any uplighting, spotlighting, lighting enhancements in the room. This is something that gets overlooked on many of events, and I've expressed this before, that it can dramatically enhance the whole look and feel of your event if you do a bunch of lighting, and it doesn't cost as much as, say, like other decor elements. I love flowers, but you know, lighting can do even more and cost a much less. So just think about lighting for your event, and then adjust the lighting throughout the event. Like especially if you have an evening event, there's going to be times through that evening or through that event where things are going to change, and you need to be, or your team needs to be making adjustments and making sure that that lighting is kind of going accordingly and is not too bright or maybe too soft, depending on your event. Like if you want it really bright, that, you know, something you should be mindful of. If it's a more corporate event, more meeting, or if it's more social, then you want to kind of put the lights down low. The temperature. Now, this is a really difficult thing to mitigate in advance. And really what you want to do is kind of drop the temperature in the room down far below what you think is comfortable in advance, because you are soon going to have a bunch of bodies people moving around, and they're going to make it a lot warmer in there. So making sure that you're giving enough time for that air conditioning, or maybe it's freezing in there and you want to bring the temperature up a little bit. So you want to find that Goldilocks temperature, not too hot, not too cold, but you have to take in consideration of people and bodies and, body heat. Okay, the sound. Now, this is something relative to anything, whether it's the entertainment or speakers or just background music, and you want to kind of test the sound well in advance, and then also just keep checking the levels throughout the event. More people, you won't be able to hear, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it's just background music for people to come in and enjoy, or maybe it's someone speaking and you want to make sure that you are paying attention to adjusting the sounds as the event is going on. So the elements of creating space, and you're creating this environment, and you really can control a lot of those elements if you're paying close attention to the lighting elements and the lighting enhancements and the lighting levels, as well as the temperature, and making sure it's comfortable, it's seasonal. There's nothing worse than corporate office buildings where it's freezing in the summer and then it's crazy hot during the winter. So, make sure you're not going on those levels, and you're just trying to make it as comfortable as possible if you have that control. And then sound, making sure that it covers the whole space. Speakers could be heard if it's a guest speaker, or music is really creating that ambiance. And when your guests are enjoying the event, they have that feeling of this is fun, or this is educational, or this is informative, whatever you're trying to achieve. All of those things are happening, and you're touching upon it throughout the entire event and just kind of checking in on it. So I hope that was helpful. If you're looking for more tools and tips, you can visit theeventindustry.com. I have some exciting announcements. The course that we've been working on, the Event Essentials, the step-by-step guide of planning an event from concept to completion, will be going live July 16th. We are wrapping up all the details and putting everything together, and that course will be available, and there'll be some webinars coming up to give you more information about what that will entail. But I'm really excited to offer that to you guys, as well as all the tools every Friday here. So keep coming with the questions. I'm happy to answer them, whether you put them in the comments or email me at hello@theeventindustry.com. All right, thanks guys for your time. Have a great rest of your week.